Okay, this is Dr. RJB. I wanted to talk a little bit about heart disease today. Um, you know, the the most common type of heart disease is a heart disease where the arteries around the heart get clogged. Uh, they are believed to be getting clogged with cholesterol, and so that's not exactly true. Um, there's actually an inflammatory process that goes on that initiates the process. And so when they look at the arteries that are blocked, there's also a pileup of material outside the artery as well as the inside. That's because that's an area of inflammation on the outside. And that inflammation is the part that attracts those, proteins and fats that collect on the inside of the artery. Um, so it's not just cholesterol. It's a disease of those blood vessels. Now, any kind of injury to those blood vessels can cause this inflammatory response. So, how do you cause injury to the blood vessel? Well, what you just be a tobacco smoker. Cigarettes can cause this damage. Of course, cigars too. Um, so that can cause the damage and initiate the process. There are people who are in my practice who had cholesterols of 400. Now, people get excited if their cholesterol is like 200, but these people are families who have no heart disease, but they have these incredibly high cholesterols, 400, 600, 1,000, and they're fine. They don't die of heart attacks. They don't die of strokes. It's just a proof that cholesterol isn't everything. Um, now, uh, uh, we do know that there are some drugs that can lower the cholesterol that don't show any benefit for heart disease. But the cholesterol drugs that we prescribe, um, uh, like one of the more common ones called Lipitor, um, and another one called Meprazole, which brand name I think was Mevacor. So these are drugs that lower the cholesterol, but they also have a antioxidant or anti-inflammatory effect on those arteries. And so even if they don't lower the cholesterol perfectly, they still help prevent heart disease. Um, Now, another thing that's really a big cause of heart disease is diabetes. Once again, diabetics have a problem with uh, uh, inflammation and blockage of the arteries caused by the sugar problems that they have. That elevated sugar causes damage to the blood vessels. So they have what are called skip lesions in the arteries of the heart. Normally, when a doctor goes in after somebody's had heart problems, they might see like one blockage in the artery when they do the angiogram. Uh, in a diabetic, there might be multiple different lesions throughout an artery. And so it's a little bit more difficult sometimes with a diabetic to just put a balloon in there and open up the area, put a stent in place, boom, you're done. Because it's not just one, it can be multiple blockages in each artery. So many times, somebody who's a diabetic who has severe heart disease has to go for cardiac bypass to coronary bypass, I should say, to open up these arteries. Um, the, um, the use of exercise, by the way, is helpful for heart disease in this fashion. Um, uh, Exercise has an anti-inflammatory effect. It also helps to lower the cholesterol, um, and it has been shown to be helpful for heart disease. It limits heart attacks and strokes. So just like those cholesterol drugs, exercise can be helpful for somebody who, may be prone to heart disease. Let's say they have a family history. Um, uh, Now, I can tell you one thing that has been found, and that is that if you're smoking cigarettes and you're exercising, you're wasting your time. Um, because the damage that's caused by those cigarettes is going to be more than that exercise is going to be helpful for. So, if you're going to be you know, um, a jogger outside and you're smoking cigarettes while you're jogging, you're just wasting your time. Don't even, you maybe not even bother because, the damage that you're doing with those cigarettes is so severe. The last thing to kind of throw in here about heart disease is alcohol. Now, this is not for the person who has a glass of wine with the dinner. This is the person who's an alcoholic, who's taking in large quantities of alcohol on a regular basis. Let's just say 6 to 8 drinks of alcohol per day. Like say a half pint of hard liquor, let's just say something along those lines. Especially if they're not eating quality food. So the nutritional problems and the toxic effect of the alcohol can cause a weakening of the heart muscle and put those people into heart failure. Um, so this is another, thing that can happen, another drug besides tobacco that can cause damage to the body. So, high amounts of alcohol, diabetes, it's not being cared for properly, tobacco smoking, these are things that can cause a lot of problems, and they're potentially treatable because you don't have to drink so much, you don't have to smoke, and you can take care of your diabetes. Okay, all right, take care.